pretty obvious I was the point guard and not this. I was told when I got here today, speeches, that's easy. All you have to do is tell a funny story. But I didn't plan a funny story, so hopefully I'll say something funny, and we'll just have this boring 2-minute speech for you. When I came to Lebanon Valley, I was only going to play one sport. Charlie Middleton at the time was helping Peg Kaufman go out and get some high school players to come and play here at Lebanon Valley. And, when he started talking to me, he just had quite a personality that I was really drawn to. And when I came then to Lebanon Valley and visited, without a doubt, this is where I wanted to be. I mean, it felt like home right away. I was all but committed to going to Shippensburg to enter their elementary education program and play basketball. But as soon as I stepped on campus here, it just, like I said, it felt like home. And I'm so thankful that Charlie came and saw me play those basketball games and that Peg wanted me to come here. I also, just tonight, and I apologize ahead of time if I get emotional, because it just hits me all at once usually. But my mom, I probably shouldn't start off with her, but I want to start off with her because I know she was probably scared to death when I said I wanted to go to Lebanon Valley College, because at the time she was a single mom. She was helping to put my brother through college already. But she never once said, no, Chrissy, you can't do it. Just like when my dad died when I was in 5th grade, she just picked up the pieces and like, yep, we can do this. And we just forged ahead. And so thank you, Mom, for supporting me in this decision. Because truly, in hindsight, I can say, I mean, this was where I was meant to come. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I was always a 3-sport athlete, going from season to season to season. And I don't think I would have survived just playing basketball here. So it truly ended up being a perfect fit. I want to thank my brother because he taught me everything I know. And he always used to say that. I had 2 older brothers, and the guys were always at our house. And Darren was always one of my biggest fans going through my high school career. And so thank you. Min and my father-in-law are both here. Min is my husband. His name tag says Eric. He said he's not used to being called Eric, he's used to being called Min. But thank you for coming to all of my games. They made so many road trips. I know that one to Atlantic City was a tough one to make, but thanks for sacrificing and coming to that one. My grandmother's here tonight. Thank you, Grandma. She was always my biggest fan. She wasn't at many games. But she was always at home, being the first one to welcome me home and say how do you do, or great job, or give me a hug. So thank you, Grandma, for coming tonight. I want to thank my coaches who were just very flexible with me playing all my sports, especially Mark Pulisic and Coach Cliff, my tennis coach. It was great that they allowed me to play those sports in one season. I had started playing tennis prior to the year that soccer started here at LVC, and I just wasn't ready to give it up. I loved it, and Coach Cliff did a new racket for me. He ripped my very amateur, probably $15 racket for me, and I felt like a pro out there. Peg Kaufman, she's the one that just really drew me in to come here. And we made lots of unannounced visits to her office. And sometimes they were serious visits, sometimes they weren't. It was just stopping by just to have a good time. But she truly, it was great having her as a coach. And I'm just very grateful that she asked me to come here. Coach Blair was my softball coach, and he was just always up for anything. I know that Lindsay's sitting there, she can confirm that. He just was, it was a great sport to have in the spring, out and fun. It was a lot of fun. So there's always people who are just kind of behind the scenes, but always some of your biggest fans. And I would say the greeter, and I don't think he's here tonight, but I saw him earlier today. And I mean, he was always there before games. Like, he was one of the last people before you went on the court to say, hey, good luck, or, you know, after the game to pat me on the back and say good job. And Josiah, I was very happy to see Josiah here tonight. Josiah, I remember one soccer game, he chased, I think, the referee down and got the game ball to bring to me, because he just valued the way I played sports, and I always really appreciated that, so thank you, Josiah. Thanks for keeping up with all of our stats and just being our supporters out there on the court. We always appreciated how invested you were in us, so thank you, Josiah. All my teammates who were with me all along the way, I know those of you who are here who are college athletes can attest to when you're a college athlete, like, you just can't describe the kind of relationships you build with them. You know, you live with them day in, day out, you travel with them to games. You know, my most memorable moments probably aren't even on the field, they're probably on the bus, in the dorm room. And so, thank you, and Susan, thanks for coming tonight. I'm glad that you could come. And Trisha started out as my neighbor in the dorm room in Mary Green, and we both had roommates that were in bed by like 7 o'clock. So we spent a lot of time out in the hallway bonding before we even played basketball together. And as time evolved, she became my roommate all the rest of the time that we were here. Obviously my best friend from here. And I was lucky to take her along home with me because now she's my sister-in-law. So we have a very unique relationship now, so thanks, Darren, for having her join our family as well. But I can say that LVC truly shaped my future, no doubt about that. I appreciated the great education I got here, but also just the opportunity to play all my sports and continue to be who I was, because an athlete, you know, isn't just what I do, it's who I am. And so LVC was just perfect, so thank you to the LVC community.
I can tell you a story about that 18th hole at Pebble Beach. I was the photographer, I was the videographer for that event, and there were these sea lions out in the water with this otter who was, you know, opening a mollusk. And I'm taking pictures of the sea lions and the sea otters. And Jerry is saying to me, did you get that picture? I poured it. And I said, no, but I have really good pictures of wildlife out here. So anyway, that's an aside. If Jerry could be here tonight, he would thank the association, first of all, the Athletic Hall of Fame, for giving him this honor. He would also have thanked his coach, Jerry Petrofis, who was not only his golf coach, but his mentor here at Lebanon Valley. They were close. They spent a lot of time together. Coach Petrofis went on a lot of golfing trips with Jerry. He would probably thank his parents because his dad took him golfing even whenever Jerry could beat his dad. He still continued to take him out, and I know he would thank me. The last time Jerry tried to teach me desperately to play golf, and you know, with his ability, he actually was a good teacher. I was just not a good student. And the last time we played a local course at home, I had my best score for 9 holes. I had a 54, and I was so excited. But for those same 9 holes, Jerry had 27. Okay, and I remember it so well because he was exactly half of me. Since I am the one that's here, I am thanking my family, who we found out about this last year whenever Rick called and said, you guys were doing this, and I thought, I can't do this. This is just not something I can do. But they rallied, as only my family can rally. So I thank my sister and brother-in-law, Judy and John Selhammer. I thank my nieces, Heather Kreider and Stacy Selhammer. And I particularly thank my nephew, Michael, I would not have walked onto the field this afternoon had Michael not walked with me. I probably would not have walked in that door tonight had Michael not walked with me. So I thank you, and Jerry thanks all of you also. So thank you.
A lot of what I have to say mirrors pretty much what Chrissy had said. So I appreciate that because I can get rid of my speech and just kind of talk. Unlike Chrissy, when I got to LVC, I didn't feel like it was home. I had no intention of coming here, but that's because LVC pretty much already was my home. My dad's worked here for the past 30 years, so I'm very familiar with the Lebanon Valley campus, and that's why I did not want to have anything to do with Lebanon Valley. But it has a lot of special moments in my life. When I was a senior, I was recruited by some Division I schools. Thanks, Coach Miller. Didn't come there though. No Delaware for me. I was at a hockey festival and I was completely overwhelmed. I heard other girls around me. They knew exactly where they wanted to go and what they wanted to do. And they were talking to their coaches and making plans for the fall. And I broke down because I was still wavering and I didn't know what I wanted to do. And of course, I go to the familiar face that I've known for quite a long time, and I ran over to the LVC table and I cried to Coach Tierney. And she's told other people, I don't think she's ever really said it to me, that's when she decided she was going to start recruiting. So I did end up here at Lebanon Valley, and I'm so thankful I did. I had the most outstanding teammates. Just recently, I hope I don't get emotional, I had the opportunity to be with some of my teammates for not the best reason. And it's amazing to me how they rally around each other and where they're always there to pick up the pieces. And like Chrissy said, most of my best memories aren't necessarily on the field. They're the other times that we were together. And I also have to mirror what Chrissy said. I did play 3 sports. And that was one of the deciding factors on why I did come here. I came to find out some of the players that I had coached once I graduated tried to play multiple sports where they went to school and they were unsuccessful. And the reason for that was they didn't have coaches that supported that decision. Their coaches were pulling them in 2 different directions. I never had to deal with that, and I took that for granted. So I appreciate Kathy and Stacy and Coach Pegg's not here for all your support, because I wouldn't have been able to do that successfully had it not been for the 3 of you. Short story. I was a freshman and made freshman mistakes, and we were playing for the MAC championship game at Messiah, and I didn't show up with my shoes. It was Coach Pegg who ran to my room and dug through my closet and got my shoes out and brought them to the field so I could play. And we did win the MAC championship that year. I also need to thank my family, and I'm not going to say a lot about them or I will start crying. But they've been my biggest fans. My mom's crying too. She made every game my senior year, and she worked full time, but somehow saved vacation days so she could make it to Junie out on a Wednesday afternoon at 4 o'clock. They were at every game, and my dad was great because the reason why I didn't want to come here is because I didn't want to deal with him on a day-to-day basis. That's why I was going to college. And he never made me feel like he was checking up on me. I did kind of watch my P's and Q's a little bit better than I might have had somewhere else, but he was always there when I needed him, but he was never there hovering, so I appreciate that. Thank you to the Hall of Fame committee. Thank you to the alumni office and everyone who helped put this together. I gotta say, I really didn't want to make a speech, but the last few days that I had to reflect on my time here was amazing. I'm gonna cry again. It was the best decision that I made, and I'm so thankful for it. So thank you all.
I just want to take this first opportunity to thank the committee and thank Lebanon Valley for having us here today. It's a great honor, and I'm proud to be a member of the LVC committee. So happy to be here. When I heard that I was going to be inducted in the Hall of Fame, kind of, it's an amazing honor, but you don't really think about it as, you know, it's good in front of 100 people and tell them about yourself and give them a little insight into what you think is important from your time from the Valley. So I had a few hours the last few days to reflect on, you know, the whole thing and playing basketball, and kind of makes you think, like, you know, how did you get here? You never plan on it. You never plan on, you know, 10, 11 years old, you're playing video basketball. There's something young in the whole thing. Those thoughts never come into your head. They were actually drilled. The thought of playing at this level was such a far possibility for me. After I was 13, we qualified for the AAU Nationals. Traveled all the way down to Tennessee to play. Kobe Bryant was there. Kevin Garnett was there. Elton Brand was there. We lost the game by 85 points. 10 white kids from Central Pennsylvania just didn't quite figure it out. So I think at that point I kind of knew where I thought my local basketball was going to be. You know, my parents were wonderful. They drove me to Tennessee. They were, you know, hey, lose by 85, that's okay. You can play well the next time. And you know, I have to thank them especially. You know, every weekend, especially as kids get older now, because sports are so competitive. They traveled, they drove me everywhere I needed to go. I had an older sister and younger brother that were playing sports too, so somehow 2 parents managed to get 3 kids to every sporting event all over the state and the country, which was just a true credit to them, so thank you, I appreciate that. And then everyone that's been up here explaining, you know, why they went to Lebanon Valley, they felt like home. I never came to visit Lebanon Valley before I decided to come here. I just evaluated schools, and I was supposed to come for a visit, but I got snowed out, I never got here. And so we were evaluating, and where do I want to go? Academically, Lebanon Valley, fantastic place. There's other schools that I was looking at that were also fantastic academically. And so it kind of came down to basketball. I came to Lebanon Valley because I thought we had the best chance to win a national title. They won a national title in 1995, 2 years before I came. And we had the reigning player of the year in the country, Andy Penko, who was also here at the time, was going to be here for 2 or 3 more years. So I thought that, you know, that's what I want to do. I want to go and I want to win, and I want to, you know, get a great education and enjoy playing. Fortunately, win the national title. But it was definitely the right decision for me. I'll echo everyone else's comments on that subject. Just being here, being part of the community, couldn't ask for a better place to grow in your academic world and in your athletic world. Coach McAllister, Coach Manlin was here, Coach Bob Simmons, who's moved on to another school. Guy was from a skinny little freshman, I guess, and then to the player that I became my senior year when we had some fun of individual success. And also, you know, it shows you what motivation was and how to be successful in a group setting, which is, you know, it translates to life very well, especially as an attorney. I deal with people every day. You have to be able to deal with people in high pressure situations, and they were great stewards through that process. Thank you guys for that. I appreciate that very much. I also want to thank my aunt for being here tonight. I know she played 18 holes of golf, and it was a tough day for her, but she's here now. And my wife for being here, I appreciate that. My sister for traveling from North Carolina. And also my grandfather who was passed on, but he used to come to every game. And when I was a freshman, he'd want to climb up three steps in the bleachers. He would pick his little seat in the student section because he could get any higher. 83 years old, he was sitting there amongst the students, taking a little while, so I appreciate that. But you know, I also want to thank other coaches that I've had throughout the year that helped shape the game that I played and the person that I've become, and the LVC community. You know, every time I come back here, I still have professors or administrators come up and talk and, you know, ask how I'm doing, how my family's doing. That's what LVC was to me. LVC was a community. Everywhere I go, every time I come back, people care about who you are, what you're doing, and how you're doing. And that's, you know, that's the mark that I always express to people when they ask about Lebanon Valley. How was it? Why did you go there? Why did you pick that place? And I don't tell them I wanted to win a national title. I tell them it was about the people, and that's what I learned while I was here for 4 years. It's about the people, and I would trade that for the world. So thank you very much.
So When I got the call from Rick informing me of the honor that I'm accepting here tonight, really one word had sort of entered my mind. It was wow. I never before had I really considered that I would be honored like this for my accomplishments in the pool. Never did I really consider myself on the same level as the great athletes from Lebanon Valley Path. You know, the success I had in the pool wasn't really so much because I swam. It was influenced tremendously by the influences in my life that changed how I swam. You know, there was the first meet at age 8 when I was thrown in the water by a coach who knew that I had never once completed an entire length of the pool. You know what? I made it. There was the coach from my first winter swimming season who basically told me, you're pretty good, but you can be really good if you really commit yourself to the sport and you take this seriously. And they're my parents, they're coaches in their own right, who, mom and dad, they more often through actions, not words, taught me diligently what could come of commitment, sacrifice, and perseverance. Ironically, neither my mom or dad can swim. Not even a little bit. Trust me. But everything that they taught me had an amazing amount of influence and directly contributed to everything that I accomplished in the pool. Coming to LVC, as most others have indicated tonight, really wasn't that hard of a decision. Well, for some who didn't want to attend in the first place, maybe. But for me, it really wasn't a hard decision. The actuarial science program was top-notch. The reputation of the school, phenomenal. But what ultimately clinched it for me was the fact that there even was a swimming program. It was founded only in 1989, and when I joined the school in '91, I knew I was coming into a young, exciting program. I definitely had some personal success in the pool, and I guess that's why I'm standing here tonight. But like most others, the inductees, we've all reflected, and there's no question that that success with the swimming team is really a very small part of the memories, of the funds that I carry forward, of the time that I attended Lebanon Valley. From that call from Rick, and that first wow moment, to now, there's just a few more words that I have, and they echo those that the others had said themselves. It's thank you. Thank you, President McDonald. Thank you, Rick. Thank you to the committee. Thank you to the entire athletic department. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for everything. I'm absolutely honored to be here tonight and couldn't be in better company than to be part of this prestigious class of 2011, inducted into the Lebanon Valley Hall of Fame. Thank you.
It's a great pleasure to be here, and we're certainly pleased that you are honoring this team, and it's my special praise is to the current inductees who are inducted today, and congratulate all of you. I hope everybody will join me. It's a great honor for you, and you look back on these as many years as I've been able to look back and realize how important it was. Rick, I'd like to congratulate you on a fine job of presenting all these things for us, and Bob Stahl and Skip Dellinger, who worked hard on the committee to put this thing together for us, and it was just wonderful. And President Steve, you should be very proud of the team that you put together here in presenting athletics to the public. They do a splendid job. I didn't see, is Jim Monas in here? I wanted to congratulate Jim on his victory today, and certainly having a great team. And I know there are no football players in the room. They only need one more win and they'll beat our record. They're 5-1 right now. We were 6-1. And unfortunately, we don't have any more to play. Although these guys look like they did a little bit with it. We had a wonderful turnout of players, and it's really very refreshing to me to see how they have stayed together over the years. And I give Bob Stoll credit for that, because he has stayed in contact with emails and keeping us in touch with one another. And it's been really a wonderful thing. I have two brief stories to tell you. I was asked today on the radio how it was that I came to Lebanon Valley College. Well, I was coaching at Williams College. I was a very young coach. I was in my 6. I was in my 6th year as a coach, assistant coach. And at Williams College, we finished our season a week before you all were here. And so my wife and I traveled down to the Philadelphia area for Thanksgiving vacation. I called George Hansel, the coach at PMC, who I had coached with prior to that. And I asked him how he was doing and who they were playing. He said, we're playing Lebanon Valley College Saturday afternoon. Why don't you get on the bus and come down with us? I said, well, that would be a great idea. Can I be of any help? He said, you can get on the phones and talk to us and see what you say about it. So I did. We came down by bus, and I was walking around Lebanon Stadium. We didn't have a field here at that time. We were walking around Lebanon Stadium, and I found out that Ellis McCracken had just resigned his position and was leaving, and that there would be an opening. And I went home, and I was visiting with my brother. He said, why don't you apply for the position? I said, I don't know anybody at Lebanon Valley. I've never heard of the school. I don't think it would be a good thing to do. He said, no, go ahead and apply. So I had a football program, and I opened up the program, and there was a picture of Carl Earhart, the dean of the college. And Carl Earhart, I said, well, dean of the college, he must know something. I'll give him a call. I was pretty doggone brash for a 28-year-old. So I called Dean Earhart, and I said, this is Bill McHenry. I saw that you had an opening in your football program. And he said, gee, I'm sorry. He said, you should have gotten in touch with me a little early. We've decided on who we're going to hire, and the position is closed. And I said, well, I appreciate it very much. He said, well, tell me a little bit about yourself. And I told him a little bit about myself. He said, can you be here tomorrow? I said, yeah, I can get my wife and we'll drive down. We drove down in a torrential rainstorm, parked out in front of the old Dreamers Gymnasium, left my wife in the car. I met with Ralph Shea, who was a history professor here, a wonderful guy. Dean Earhart was the chairman of the committee, and my good friend, Renzo Marquette, who turned out to be one of my dearest friends while I was here. And we had a nice interview, and when it was over, I stood up to say goodbye. They said, the job is yours. I said, oh, really? He said, yeah, you want the job? I said, well, yeah. He said, by the way, how much are you making at Williams next year? I said, $7,000. He said, oh, good, we're going to give you $7,200. I told my wife, I said, I'm so excited. We got a $5 a week raise. And now I'm the league director and head of the ball coach, head of the business department, and so on. But that is absolutely a true story. So you got me cheap, Steve. Then the only other story I want to tell you is we had our first day of practice, and we were terrible practice field. We were down the field with our 25 players, and I looked up on the hill. The steps went up to 934, and I see two men sitting there in a beach chair, or lawn chairs or something, and with binoculars and watching everything we were doing. And I said, hey, I got to stop this. Very suspicious young guy. So I marched up those steps and I said, hey, what are you guys doing here? He said, we're just here to see practice. I said, well, how come? Why are you doing that? He said, the two captains are our sons. I said, you guys come on down on the field, and you can go any place you want on the field, and they were on our sideline for the rest of the time that they were playing. So it was a great experience to know these people. And I'll tell you, I feel just like the alumni here. It was a great experience for me. I had 41 years in college athletics, and these were the 10 best years I had.